Hello, Randall. How are you? Hopefully I'm coming through. Everything says my mic is working, my camera's working. Let me know if you're hearing me. I'm not going through the startup and everything. Well, hello, Luma. Thanks for popping in for a few minutes. Appreciate that. I wonder what that means by there, but yeah, it is what it is. Bing, bing. Well, hi, Chris and Jean. Huh. Why is this not giving me the chat? Ah, that's why. Well, hi, Tammy. I guess I'll have to learn that for next time. But this is technically live, so this should be reading. I'm going to start here. I'm currently on OBS. I did a test stream yesterday morning. It went 15 minutes and died. OBS crashed again. And I did a 15-minute test earlier today, and it didn't crash, but I've only gone 15 minutes. But if this crashes, I'll switch over to StreamYard and come back on. But a lot of things. But yeah, I just got it in my head to mess with my steamers. And the thing is, 4 of them, the front 4 you see, all have sound. They're DCC with sound. Except they're actually MFX with sound, but same idea. And then the BR50 in the background and the P8, they don't have sound. They're all digital, but the last 2 are just basic digital. So I thought it would be cool just to get... I was actually trying to get all 4 whistles to go off at once, but by the time I got down here and set them all up, most of my family had gone home for Easter, or had gone home after being here for dinner yesterday. And so it was just sort of a... Joyce came down, and all I could do with Joyce was just have her press one at a time. The problem is my blue Rheingold, the one in the very front there in lane 1, it has sound, but the sound is fading. I don't know if the speaker's bad or the decoder. It is a 20-year-old, well, 22-year-old locomotive. So it could just be that the decoder needs replaced. It could be that the speaker needs replaced. And I've not felt the need to really mess with it because it runs fine. Oh, he's excited about the steam run, is he? All right, well, but the goal was I wanted to get all 4 steam whistles at once, and I couldn't do it. The only way I could have done it is if I was experimenting where if I hit the whistles while it's in stop state, if I hit the whistles while they're in stop state, and then if I come out of stop state, protect your ears. I don't know if this will work or not. And as you can see, my 01, I got the Christmas steamer out. My 01, it's ready to smoke. The others are filled, but they're not ready to smoke yet. So what I wanted to film was I wanted to see if I could get all 5 of them in a picture like this and have all 5 of them smoking. And then could I set off the fire alarm at the top of the stairs? Well, hello, Mav. How are you not knighted? You've been here before. I now declare you a knight of the Rhomboid table. Just behave. Hey, Richard. Great to have you here. Hello, Wicked Insanity. So, yeah, the idea was, could I do it out of... The problem is they're all the permanent whistles. So then you have to quickly try to get them all off. But I'm going to do it again and see how it goes. So just a little bit of fun there. And then I'm going to try to get these running, but I wanted them all to be smoking. So I actually filled them all up and turned them on. And the 01 started smoking right away. The others have not started smoking yet. They may need to run and heat up before it goes. The Flying Scotsman did a puff. Okay, well, so I guess what I'll do is I'll just put them in motion and then hope they all get going eventually. But like I said, for those coming in, I am currently on OBS. The longest I've been able to get it go and stay stable is 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden it starts crashing after 15 minutes. I don't know why OBS and YouTube are fighting again, other than OBS did do an upgrade last week, and I've done 2 streams since that upgrade, and I've had 2 streams with problems. Now, somebody will say, well, you've had 3 streams in a row where you've had to cut over. Well, that's because the stream before that, I think it was 205, that was somebody cut our internet out. Our whole neighborhood internet went down again for a few minutes. But so I guess I'll just put these in motion and we'll move the camera around. And again, if this crashes, I'll come back up on StreamYard. And I did go back and listen to Jason, and I read online on how you can put OBS in StreamYard. The thing is, StreamYard only puts it in 720p. And when I'm watching a 720p replay on my TV, the color quality, the depth quality, the sharpness quality just is not the same as 1080p. And so I prefer. But I will try to keep only the big screens up. I won't go to the multi-view too much. I will try just to keep, since you guys are here to really see these steamers. But if you don't know these steamers, what we have is we have a class 18. I believe this one's an 18.4. No, this one, yeah, this one's an 18.4. Blue and cream Bavarian Rheingold, which was a luxury liner, kind of a German version of the Orient Express. This is a 2002 model that came in a special deluxe kit. And then next to it is my Christmas BR01. I'm trying to talk myself into getting an actual BR01 that I can run at other times through the year, rather than, okay, I'm going to do this and run the Christmas. But I don't know if that's not high on my list. I've already actually spent my year train budget already. Foolishly so, I guess, with the Flix Trains surprise and more of that. So has anybody else come in? I think I said hi to everybody else, but I'll go ahead and put these in motion. And obviously the Christmas one's going to start steaming. It'll probably run out of steam before the others get started, but we'll see what happens. I'll put them in motion, and hopefully StreamYards does not, or StreamYard, see, I'm saying StreamYard now. Hopefully, uh-oh, somebody's derailed already. Hang on, we've already got a fault in the system. My Rheingold has a car derailed. What are you derailing for? Or you probably were just set up derailed. Who's derailed? And you're right in the spot where I can't underail you easily. Aha, you right there. There you are, you criminal. What is your problem? Whew. That's the second straight stream with a derail. All right, let's see if that... And I'm running the 01. Whoops. We are just having fun today. Oh my goodness. What's going on here, guys? What's with these stupid uncouplings and derails? Can't we all just get along here? Take 3. Yeah, the Flying Scotsman's trying to start puffing. There he goes. He's puffing. So I didn't know. I did not test these enough. I just filled them up and made sure they were clean on the inside. Are you derailing again? And that uncoupled again. And that derailed again. So this is what happens, guys, when you don't test everything ahead of time. Why are you derailing? What is the major malfunction here? I know you haven't run on this line before, but really, come on. Let's see, sometimes just turning it around helps. All right. I've got one car on the Rheingold, keeps uncoupling as it goes into that one corner. I've got the Flying Scotsman in motion somewhere. I'm trying to get everybody else going. And there it derailed again. Or did it? You sound like it for a second, but no, you're okay. Oh! Dude, why are you chugging so hard? Come on, get moving. I know I don't have you cranked up hard enough, but we'll get you there. We'll get you there. All right, he's derailing right here in this corner for some reason. I'm having so much fun, guys. Sorry about that. This is what happens when you don't practice. What is the major malfunction? Why are you constantly derailing there? Are you catching on something here? Just wonder if you're... not hitting anything there. What are you doing that's causing you to derail there? So you're just constantly derailing. Well, we'll give it one more loop, and then I may have to give up on that one. All right, can we get everybody going before I have to shut everything down again? Sorry about this, people, but unfortunately I did not do a test run. So let me get to the chat because it's not pulling up on. But you may also notice... Hey, Ian, how are you? Hey, Hot Dog Pilot Andy, how are you? Tim JD, great to have you guys. Sorry, because of the way I set this up, I'm not seeing my OBS chat, so I have to look over here, and I had my screen on, but I'm trying to sort out My Rheingold has a car that keeps uncoupling when it comes around this back corner that you're about to see. It keeps uncoupling right about here, right off that camera. But I think maybe the way the couplers were stuck together was a little off, but we'll see. And yep, it just went off again. Dude. But anyhow, the other cool thing is I'm running, in terms of the number of cars, the longest train I've ever run. I've got that beer train going. And, oh, both my Rheingolds are being jerks today. Maybe I should change their lanes. Put one on one and one on the other. Come on, Rheingolds, what's up? All right, you're going to short out the whole system now, aren't you? All right. That's what I get for trying to work on it. Leave the other things running. Oh. Oh, you guys are being pains in the patootie. All right, let me go reboot this. Excuse me a second, guys. Sorry about all this. It's a disappointment to everybody involved. Okay. Now the Flying Scotsman is trying to. All right, I'm going to stop this for a second because I got to get this loco back on. Oh, in fact, I'm just going to change your direction, dude. Maybe that will help. It'll be weird having two cars next to each other going the same direction, but and of course, it keeps derailing in the one spot that's hard for me to reach in terms of adjusting it. So let's get everybody going again. And where is the troublemaking car? Where did I set him? Right here. Where's my re-railer? Let's go to Longview. I apologize to all of you coming in that are missing the chat, but I did not test run anything. I wasn't planning this. I just thought, what the heck, I'd do it. And so, oops. Where is my re-railer? Oh, it's still out. That's why. It's over here. Because this right here is the car that's causing all the trouble. Has anybody else started steaming yet? The Flying Scotsman kind of was. Ah, the BR50 steaming. And the Christmas one has run out of steam, so I'll have to refill that, although he's blowing pretty good there. So if I go to 11 lane here real quick, you might be able to see him. We got 2 guys steaming there. The one in the background, that doesn't steam. But where are we at? I want to go to long view. This way you can see kind of everything while I'm working on this knucklehead. Not sure why this guy's couplers are acting like a sand trout, but they are. I'm just going to send him the other direction and see if maybe that changes his attitude. So I'll have 2 going the same direction next to each other, but if it solves my problem, because otherwise I'd have to take that car and see if it's the car in front of it causing it. Hey, Sean, how are you? Anybody else that's just come in? Sparky, how are you? Just trying to see if I could get 5 steamers steaming at once. Unfortunately, a couple of them are throwing fits and not wanting to do what I've asked them to do. Accidentally. Come on, Rheingolds. Why did Flying Scotsman stop? Oh, because when I was changing chairs, where'd the blue Rheingold go? He's not stopped at the station. Oh. Oops. You SOB. Shorted out the system this time, buddy. Let's see if I can pull you back towards me where I can rail you up. That's why I couldn't see him. He totally left the track. He was trying to park with the ICs. Sorry, guys. I just completely shorted out my system and had to reboot. You can see it on the camera. This guy accidentally took a left turn at Albuquerque. Oh my goodness. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck. Why are you open? You were closed yesterday. But there it is. All right, let's get guys. This blue Rheingold is being a brat today and causing all kinds of problems. Now, friends, this is what happens when you don't test everything before you start a stream. All right, let's get everybody back in motion again. Okay. Oi. Hey, Leslie, how are you? Mick, how are you? So yeah, April Fool's is in full stock here. I just wanted to see if I could get all my trains to blow some smoke. Instead, they're blowing smoke up me, messing with me in ways I don't want to be messed with. Don't mind me, I'm just resetting a couple of things, so if you see a train stop, unless I cuss, that's me, but yeah, the BR50 is smoking. That's the one pulling the beer train. The Christmas train was smoking, but I think it stopped now. And the Flying Scotsman smoked a little. Oh, well, I'll experiment later. So let me get back to the chat. Hey, Andy81. Did you count? I did not count how many beer cars I put on it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 beer cans and a brake van or whatever you call it, 26 cars following it. Okay. Well, Mav, the problem is I did not test run. Usually when I do my Friday live streams, I test run all my trains, make sure everything's smooth. This one I set up just to do a stunt. And then since I had it all set up, I thought, let's go ahead. And I did not test run it. And I would have caught this one derailing. And the other problem is with my command center, I don't know what's the easiest way to show this to you. Where's the all view? But I have two controllers right here, and if I turn my chair around or I lean into the table, I accidentally turn them off. So right now, Yes, John, it's Monday, not Friday, but I was messing around with my trains and thought I'd go live, and I did as a spur of the moment, so I'm paying for that. I'm paying for a spur of the moment. Now, by the way, somebody's saying you're hearing the European trains. Well, technically you are, but one of those trains you're hearing is the Flying Scotsman, which is a UK train. I've only got two of the train sounds on. I've got the 18.5 Rheingold. That's the brownish colored one. And then I have the Flying Scotsman going. But I have all of them set up to blow smoke, but like the Christmas one has stopped, so it might need a refill. So next time around, maybe I'll refill it. The BR50 was doing fine. The Rheingold blew a little, and the Flying Scotsman blew a little, and then they stopped. Every now and then I still see a little chuff out of that Rheingold. But the blue Rheingold isn't working. Not sure why. Maybe I didn't put enough in it. But maybe if it starts running, it'll work. Now I'm going to stop the Flying Scotsman here for a second. And I'm just going to add a little juice to it to see if that encourages it to start smoking. I just got to learn not to overfill. I've done that occasionally. Okay, and I probably just stopped the train. Yes, I did, because I'm an idiot. Oh. See, I am really trying to design and move these pads so I won't keep bumping them. Now let's get the Flying Scotsman back in motion. Maybe I'll just push this up here out of the way for now. And we'll turn the Flying Scotsman smoker on and see if I gave it enough. Oh, Rheingold, you are such a... I gotta remember which, So I hope you're enjoying the sound of the steamers. Oh, I know that, Mav. That's why I said, but it's continental. You know, you mentioned you had a UK train, but you couldn't hear the models. But yeah, I'm fully aware. England is part of Europe, although many people don't think they are. Many people in England, the UK, don't think they're part of Europe. But be that as it may, I'm running steam, so if you complain I don't run enough steam, this was your show today. Let me get a couple of other cameras here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm not running the stuff on the floor. I suppose I could, but this is really about just the stuff I had on the table. I didn't. Just missed the Flying Scotsman, but Here you'll see the Rheingold going past. And behind it, the BR50. But there's a nice shot for you. Ah, the Flying Scotsman started to blow steam. The problem is I was too busy watching him go past. I forgot to stop the one so I could refill it. Hey, Van Don. Well, we already did that song, Van Don Eisenbahn. Joyce sang The Sound of Locos. Oh, now it stopped again already. Ooh, cheater. All right, well, I'm going to wait for the Christmas one to come around again and refill it. But every now and then I can get that 18.5. So come on, Christmas train, get around here. You're an express train. Let's speed you up a little bit. If only I'm going to shut you down immediately afterwards. All right, come here, 01, with your Christmas tree on. All right, let's refill this guy. Whoa, what the hell? There he goes, right back at it. Whew! So now, who's next? We're gonna try that silly old blue Rheingold. So let's stop him while he's here, and let's see if maybe I just didn't add enough. Well, I left you on that camera. Sorry, guys. I got distracted with what I was doing. But then again, you don't see what I'm doing, so, you know. All right, let's go to a different camera here. Yeah, I had a hard time deciding what to run that BR01 with. And I decided of all the cars I had, those probably worked best. I toyed with running the BR50 with them, but speaking of BR50, I want to refill him up. I just got to stop him. He's on this one. Stop. Okay, we'll see if that gets him going again, but I think he needs to be moving for his to really get going. So let's get him moving again. The problem is, there's only so much you can put in, of course. You all know that have steamers that blow smoke, and boy, you don't see, and all of a sudden it's there. Lester, Gary, how are you? Why are you not knighted? And now declare you a knight of the rhomboid table. There you are, you've been knighted. So unfortunately, I've only had luck with a couple of the steamers. You just opened a Velton's and we've got a Velton's car on there. That's good, that's convenient. I've had about half these beers. I'm going to see one more time if I can get the Flying Scotsman's smokestack to work. All right, Scotsman, let's get you to work. Okay. Well, we'll see if that works. So I've had 3 of them blowing smoke at one time. Can't get the other 2 to work at all, and one of them's only partial. We just had a disaster with this can. There you go, steaming right at you. Yeah, that BR50 is probably becoming my favorite steamer. He just runs. Yeah, this is the camera I knocked over a little bit ago. Come on, come on. Oh, yeah, that might be better. Come on, Flying Scotsman, get some smoke going. Yeah, I don't know how silly it was going to be to have a. I mean, the beer wagons are halfway around the loop it's on. I have actually one more beer car I could add, but the Stuttgarter beer has already been represented a lot. The Hofbräu. I have another Stuttgarter Hofbräu, but I've already got 2 on the train, so I thought it was too unfair. All the other beers are 1, and Stuttgarter Hofbräu for some reason has 3. Here comes the Flying Scotsman. I wonder if I didn't put enough in that. Well, I know I put more than enough. Tucking the old timers away after their effort. Are you talking about your trains or yourself? There's the BR50 going. Quick, change views. Quick. Oh, pass. Quick, bring the car, please. There we go. There you got 2 steamers going next to each other that are steaming. Well, passing each other. Sadly, I can't get that Rheingold. Of all the ones, the Rheingold, this particular Rheingold is the touchiest. I can't always get it working. Yes, Jean Ricard, I filled it up. I've turned it on. It does not want to go. It was puffing a little bit earlier and then it stopped and now it just isn't going. They all seem to be a little touchy at times. Okay, Anthony, where'd you put the lid for this? There it is. Okay. The 01 is out of smoke. I'll turn that off for now. I'll leave the BR50 on, and I'm still hoping a couple of these others will get their shite together. Scotsman's nearly smoking. Up, there he goes. He is starting. I don't know if you can see it this way, but let's catch it. Where is it? Coming up the ramp here. Did you just stop? No, no, it's just very faint. I'm going to stop the 01 and refill him again and get him going again so I can take advantage of this. Why do you do that? What the hell? Something wrong with this syringe. All right, now I want to catch that P8 and I want to time these guys so they're all doing it together. Oh, shaky hands, McGee, you're not doing yourself any favors. There he goes. I don't know what view gives you the best. This one's far away. It gives you a nice view of the overall range, but all right. Well, it was going to be an experiment to see if I could get all 5 going. One doesn't want to go. One's kind of half and half. And 3 are working. Last time I ran that blue Rheingold, when I put the smoker in it, it ran it beautifully. I don't know why it's not working now. Yeah, Flying Scotsman put out a little. He's still puffing a bit. Well, a lot of guys, I usually do an all steam stream around Christmas time. I call it Steamer Palooza. I do it for Christmas. I bring the Christmas train down from underneath the tree and run on layout, and I run all my steam trains. Now, this is the first time I've had 6 full steamers. Because at Christmas, I don't think I had the BR50. I think I got that after Christmas. I could be wrong. That Prussian 8's running a little fast. That P8. Let me slow him down just a little. Yeah, with the steamer snow Steuerwagen, I'm not worried about it. I love the modern trains. I admire the engineering, the man hours, the creative mankind that built the steamers. That's something that could be replicated today, but it's cheaper to machine everything. But I'm a modern guy, probably electric over diesel. I like HSTs over the regional stuff. But I do have, like right now, my BR449, what guy's probably the best one to show that? Yeah, that guy right there. This is one of my favorite new trains, that little double-decker red, the Twindex Vario. I love that train. I think its just color is really standout sharp. And it's just a beautiful model. It runs like a dream. Yeah, and I mean, I'm that way too. I do like them all. I don't dislike, but I think we all have favorites. There are some people who hate diesels and hate electric and only like steamers. Steamers are the only trains. I like them all. I watch the UK channels and I like the Class 47s. I like the Class 43s. But the UK also has some classic steamers. Sooner or later, I'll probably pick up a model of the Duchess of Sutherland, because I absolutely love that train. I love that locomotive, the Duchess of Sutherland. The livery on it is just that maroon or claret or whatever you want to call it is just absolutely stunning. And when it's in front of a rake of the same colored LMS cars, it stands out. Whenever I see it on a YouTube channel, I just go, oh yes! Somebody just showed me a different streamlined locomotive in the LMS livery that I thought was really cool as well. Not to mention there was one at York. Well, hello, Dave. Welcome in. But I do think the next time these guys lose, I'm not going to refill them. I'm just going to turn off the smoker units in a couple of minutes, and then the ones that I know have fluid in them, if they suddenly start smoking, maybe I can always go back and refill. But this one Rheingold, because I have two Rheingolds. I've got the Bavarian Rheingold, which is blue and cream, and then I've got the other Rheingold, which is probably my prettiest steam locomotive. It's going to come up in camera here in just a minute, except you're not going to see it for the beer train. Good timing, bad timing. Right there. Okay, this guy. That's probably my prettiest. It's the most detailed, but it's and it's a decent runner. It's not a great runner. There's a little spot here because my table kind of goes up and down. It doesn't like it. If I put it on a different lane, it's okay, but it doesn't like going up the incline pulling these cars. But its smoke unit is very finicky. I can only rarely get the smoke unit to work. But it's a beautiful locomotive. But this BR50 is everything. It's the same color, so it's black on top and red on the bottom, which I love. The steam unit works, and it's a massively strong puller. It would pull this rake of beer cars up my incline without a problem. Hey, Dino, how are you? Era 2 with the correct purple. See, that's the difference how our eyes work. A lot of people call it purple, but I always see it looks brown. If it's purple, it's on the brownish end of purple. I'd probably have to get it in really good lighting. But even on camera, I don't know, does it show up more brown or purple on camera? Because it could just be my eyes. Because I suppose it is a purple, but boy, there's a lot of brown in that purple. But gorgeous Rheingold. I like the Bavarian one, even if it's not the official color. It's just cool. Well, Andy81E, if that's the case, I'm great that I inspire somebody to do something other than shoot themselves. See, that's the difference between a regular camera at 1080 and a 4K cam. Even though you're only seeing it in 720 or 1080, what a difference in color and brightness. These cameras are next to each other. It's not like one's under a light and one's not. That is just the difference in camera quality. Nice view, good camera, good quality. But a foot away is this camera, and what a difference. That's a good view to catch all these trains right now, isn't it? Well, hello, Friedrich Harm and Gustav Stilo. Let me knight you. You may advertise your channels now. I now declare you a knight of the rhomboid table. You are now a knight of the rhomboid table. You may advertise any train channel or comedy channel. The only thing we ask you to do is not post dramas. Don't dish on other channels. Don't mock other channels. Don't criticize other channels. Only talk about other channels in here in a positive way. You could say, I don't watch this channel, and leave it at that if you don't like it. But otherwise, we're just welcoming. Yeah, guys, I'm not running the UK stuff. It just didn't fit right with the steamers. I picked up some new... Oh, from that angle. Okay, let's turn his smoker off now. Because he's done. Because that doesn't have the automatic shut-off. The Flying Scotsman has the automatic shut-off. Flying Scotsman, 01. Oh, BR50's on this one. Gotta find the right controller. Go over, and... I might refill them a little bit later and get them some juice again. I have seen 3. I did not know there was a 4th, Evo. Hey, Andy Dobson and Andrew, how are you? Which one? I mean, I've heard a couple of things. Oh, the F-Zug Blue. And then the cream and red. See, the one I don't think I knew was the F-Zug Blue. I know the purple. The Era 2 purple, and I know the Rheingold because I've actually seen the Rheingold from a distance in real life. It was parked somewhere. I forget where, but it was parked somewhere. And Joyce and I were like, oh, it's the blue and cream Rheingold because it's actually still out there as a museum model. I'm not sure. I think they occasionally run it. I mean, there's more than one, but they have something that's painted up like it or whatever. The Flying Scotsman just gave a couple of tufts of smoke again. Come on, Scotsman! It's a Scotsman and must think that it's too expensive to make smoke. Now you're going to get 3 passing here. Or meeting, as some say. Yeah, see, the Flying Scotsman is just putting out little tufts of smoke. The first time I tried it, it really puffed it out. And then I think I overfilled it once, and since then it's been... Hey, Daz, nice to have you. Is Jenny Kirk on now? When does she go? Doesn't she go on live 7 p.m. UK time on Mondays? Not that... Not that I would be cutting into her audience, but this was just a random throw-up. I don't... Love Jenny Kirk, but I don't do the live streams, and so I lose track of time. Well, hello, Peter from Chapelin. Nice to have you. But I suppose I can stay on, and if people like my stream and don't watch Jenny Kirk, I mean, I don't think she would feel threatened by me staying on, but I don't like to cross streams. You know, Ghostbusters told us crossing streams. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Andy Dobson. Yeah, see, there's all of a sudden it's blowing. You could see just as it came around the corner, it's blowing some smoke there. You can just see it. Flying Scotsman's got a little bit of smoke going. But I got a question for all of you to answer for me in a minute. Oops. Hey, Christopher. Well, one person answered the... because Jenny Kirk's got a great live stream, lots of fun, great personality. She's an amazing modeler and all that. And I recall she went on Monday, and I always thought it was about to my time, which is when I was working. I didn't get off till 3 o'clock, and then I'd come home and nap or whatever. I stayed here because I saw this guy was coming. So anyhow, here's sort of my poll question. Well, our pleasure, Daz. You come across as a great guy with a lot of fun. And you've got awesome trains. I love your train collection. And that's the thing. I don't care if somebody's running on the floor or has the world's most perfect layout. I look at the trains. Yes, a pretty layout is a pretty layout. But I enjoy watching. Let's get to it. Where is it? But I got to ask my question before I forget what my question was. Like, when these are running, I enjoy watching this where somebody's just got a couple of trains on a loop as much maybe that sounds weird to people, but I just, when people are like, oh, check out my cool trains running, I'm not as worried about the scenery. Yes, of course you notice beautiful scenery in the background if it's there, but I don't notice if it's not there. Does that make sense? I just love seeing it. But anyhow, here's my question, and let's get to a video where you can actually see trains running. I just wasn't running these guys today. If you really want me to put those two on, I suppose I could put them on, but today was just about trying to experiment with my steamers. But anyhow, here's my question. When you're watching a model train or even a live train, come on, like here comes the Flying Scotsman right now. Do you enjoy it more just seeing the head-on shot as it comes and goes around you? Or do you also enjoy the rear shot where it's going away from you? Sort of like that one, you know, where it's going away from you. Do you have a preference? Do you like it? Do you like it more when it's coming head-on to you? Or do you kind of like it pulling away and going off into the distance? So Andrew Shortbread says either way. I'm talking about, do you like it coming at you or going away from you? Do you have a preference? Andy says both. Well, for the most part you do, but really I have more shots where the trains are coming on because I think I do like that shot. Although, thanks to Leslie's live stream, where this Rheingold is going through right now, I've learned to enjoy watching it go off and curving away into the distance where you see the tail car. So Dino is sort of like me, coming head on. I do prefer head on, but I've learned to appreciate watching it go the other way. So yeah, on this one you got the angle. You've got 3 going away from you and 3 coming into you. Well, not if you're on the track. Yeah, coming. Well, to be honest, I think if it's coming at you, you'd rather see it coming and be able to move than it coming behind you. Where you're like, ah, boom, and it's over. That's all she wrote. Because obviously, one of the things I did for me when I set up all these cameras and kept adding. Now, I'm going to turn the sound off if you guys don't mind for a minute. I'm going to turn the sound off. It's getting a little cacophonous in here. So, that's a little better. But, you know, some people do like the far away, kind of see the whole spread view, especially with a model train layout. You know, sometimes it's nice to get the whole view and see the expanse. So you're kind of up above looking down. Some people like a busy view where you can see them fairly close but slightly angled above, so as they're passing each other, you can see each train. They're all on this side right now. Well, actually, to your view, that side, but for me, it's over here. They're all coming through the 11 lane right now. Now, today you got 4 going away from you and only 2 coming in, because I changed the direction of the one train. Suppose I get to turn the Christmas train around. I'm glad I sorted out sometimes when I keep having a car uncoupled, just turning it around seems to solve the problem. And I was having the Speisewagen for that set there kept uncoupling. Some people like the really low close-up views, and I just missed it. But then you have this one, which is kind of high and close. And there on that angle, if you look quick, you might have seen that 2 of my trains have the smoke boxes working, the fire boxes working. Smoke box or fire box? I think it's a fire box. You'll all correct me, I'm sure. And so there's I just add angles Like this one's kind of at an angle. It's close. The problem is there's not good lighting in that back corner. The light I have right over the middle of the table here does not quite filter into that back corner. I probably could add a lamp or something like that. Might light it up a bit better. Well, that camera needs to be turned a bit. I must have bumped it when I was over there yesterday getting trains put away. But there you go. That's a three-way meet right there. Nobody's there now. Oh, somebody's coming up. There we go. There goes that Rheingold. And again, another one where it's just not a great camera. This is one that I used to have somewhere else, and I moved over here when I added this view. I got a better camera that I wanted in that place. I just did that today. The 11-lane camera is a new well, it's not a new camera. It's one I've had for a couple of months, but the camera that was here was acting up, so I moved it. And I put a new 4K camera here, which I took. It was my mobile cam, the cam I used to go around and show all the things on a long line, so I could walk over here and show. Lots of beer reefers. I can't help it, guys. You say reefers, I'm not thinking beer. And then there's the bridge view. I always like this view because, A, it's a pretty good camera. It's a pretty good camera. Oh, man, it's an interesting sight. Plus, you get to see some of those trains. But I do like this view a lot. Yeah, I get what you mean, Daz. Hey, Raymond Lakes, how are you? Yeah, oh, that's true pretty much anywhere. Although we got tougher about it in a lot of ways, so it wasn't a problem. But in some schools, yeah, that's very true. There were some bathrooms some teachers were too scared to go near at a couple of the high schools I taught at when I was younger. And I'd walk right in there. All right, fellas, put them out into the toilets, flush them, and get out of here, get back to class. Oh, shit, it's Mr. Dodge. And another kid be like, be grateful it's Mr. Dodge. But, you know, I don't go into chats, not because I don't like the chat. I mean, there are some chats I don't go to because I don't like the chat. But there are, you know, there are train guys and they get all political and start spewing political BS. Or they get religious and start preaching instead of just running trains. But for the people who don't mind that, go there, go for it. I don't, you know. It's not an overall judgment. It's a personal choice, which is why I try to keep all that stuff off of here. I try to keep the dramas. But there are some streams that they're just so busy you can't keep up with the stream. Even if there's like two people you want to talk to, the stream is rolling so fast you miss what each other say to each other. And I do prefer to go to a stream where I can talk to the person that's running the stream. Well, you were a little busy there, although, Randall, I hope this doesn't come across wrong. I'm sometimes very glad to hear you're busy, because I'm hoping busy means money. Yeah, and Raymond, you're going to chat with, you know, even in a chat like this, there are going to be what we call in the educational and psychology world cliques. There are certain people that are going to talk more with certain people and not necessarily talk to everybody else. And again, that's normal, that's natural, that's nothing. That's nothing. I just like, and I'm bad at catching some of the comments that are aimed at me. That's why I always try to tell people, if you can, if you're on your phone, you can't. But if you're on a computer or something where you could do the @ or just even bold print it, because the bold print and the ats with the orange strip with my name catch my eyes immediately. Andy says he's not keen on commenting on that. Ooh, I hope I didn't touch a sore nerve on something. I certainly wasn't trying. But I love Jenny's channel, and I'm subscribed to it. But I don't go into live streams because while it might be cool to sit and listen to, on some of the chat and the people she interviews and things like that. Again, if I go into a chat and it's not my chat, I'm looking to talk to certain people. Even if I don't talk a lot. But there are chats I go into where I'll type 7 or 8 lines aimed at the person running the chat, and I never get a response, and I'm like, okay then, I apparently don't matter. Hey Tom, how are you? You just ordered an Alco 1930 Steam Loco, 1993 packaging. Okay, that's cool. Gotcha. Are you talking my tin plate EFO? I don't even know what you call the coaches. I just call them the green, red, and blue series. To me, it's 60s, early 70s to late 70s before they switched over to the ocean blue and green. I think that's the historical order. They were all green, and then these cars came out where the first class was blue, second and third class was green, if they did third class or just went down to second class, and then the Speisewagen was red. M-Wagen, thank you, M-Wagen. Now can I remember that? You may have to remind me a couple times. M-Wagen. But yeah, that class 01, that's, obviously that's the Maerklin Christmas train, 39996 or 36996. I think that's what its model number was. But yeah, that is a powerful train. I don't want to get into it, but it would be an interesting contest to see who's the stronger puller, the 01 or that BR50, because that BR50 is a beast. That BR50, no matter what I put on, it's like, dude, this ain't nothing. Actually, I guess he should be German, right? This is no problem. I can handle this load. What do you think I am? Oh, well, I feel doubly honored for that, Tim. Thank you. You got tin plates that need wheels. I've got a couple of Fleischmann cars. I ordered the replacement because it's got, are they Fleischmann or is it a Lima? I think it's a Fleischmann. But it's got the UK hook. And I ordered the replacement hooks, to put the Telex couplers on it. And they sent me the wrong stuff. Or I ordered the wrong stuff, got the wrong part number. Well, unfortunately, I could never get anything for a song and a dance because I can't dance and my singing sucks. Where is that fleshy man? Where is he? Is he just like, no. Did I move it? No. Yeah, it's in here. So where are you? Yeah, it's this one. Are you a Fleischmann? Yeah, it is a Fleischmann. So I'll put this up on screen so you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you guys know. I'm just not sure. Since I don't know all the official terms. Where are we at? No, not that one. Solo. There we go. It's this one. So you see, it's got that. Because I never saw trains that had that coupler except for the UK trains, the little pressure coupler. Is there an angle where I can actually show that? I always associate these with the UK, even though with the UK it's usually the big D. But I never saw these type of couplers on the American stock or the European stock I collected, okay? So I'm limiting that view to a very narrow view. So I ordered this off of YouTube because I wanted this. I wanted this car, I wanted this coach, and it came with these couplers, which I didn't notice in the video. And I was assuming they should be easy to replace. No. So I'm trying to find the way they connect onto the bogie there. I've got replacement pieces, but unfortunately they sent me more of these. And I was trying to get the Roco, the Relics, Telex couplers. So I haven't been able to run this because it doesn't fit all my other couplers. So I'll have to go to eBay one of these days and buy it again. The 6523 couplers, which sounds right. I thought that's what I ordered, but maybe I accidentally hit 6524 or something like that and didn't notice. Yes, Sparky, what can I do for you? Because you got the Rovo, which was Roco, well, not Roco. It was Rovo was East German, wasn't it? Oh, okay. All right, Sparky. Like I said, when I went on, nobody was scheduled. I thought Jenny came on Mondays, and I couldn't remember if it was 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And once I went live around 1 o'clock, I was like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. And I really was just going to experiment, but a lot more people came in than I expected. And I had so many problems the first half hour trying to get things to run smoothly. Now, they're running smooth. Everything's going well. Let's get back to the trains and get off of me. But only about 6 people answered my, do you prefer this shot? Do you prefer this shot? I mean, with the train coming on you. Or do you prefer that shot with the train going away from you? Andy81, if you put DC wheels on an AC track, nothing happens. But if you put AC wheels on a DC track, you fry it out. Did I see Tom's offer? You have them in stock. Okay, cool. We should talk offline, or you can Facebook me, email me. And, okay, it was pre-Roco. I thought there might have been a connection, but I also keep thinking Rovo was East German and Roco's Austrian. But it was pre... Head-on turnaround curve. I wondered if people might like that too. But like this view where it's coming into view and you see it going off into the distance. Again, I always wanted to see the train head-on to really see the loco. But like Leslie and some people do some amazing shots where you see the train rolling off into the distance, which I find I really like. Because it's the whole reason I'm into trains was traveling by trains. So when you're watching a shot like this where it's going off in the distance, a part of my mind just goes into that beautiful, whoops, that's the wrong camera to go to now. So is that. Yeah, see that a bit. But my mind goes to that. My mind goes wistfully to that, another train trip. Traveling by train, because that's what got me into it. Well, Raymond, all I can say about that, aha. Well, but yeah, finishing that. Dino, I haven't even worked on it. I got up to work on it last week, Monday, and a whole bunch of other things happened, and I lost my mojo to work on it. And then Kyan was helping me work on it a little bit, but that also didn't work. A Tuborg. Well, there's a Carlsberg right behind it, too. So I got the 2 Danish beers on there, courtesy of Jean Ricard here. And that's true, but like I have in my Delmenhorst station, somebody's going to be coming up in. No, went the other way, right? I saw the guy coming up. Nope, that's the place got in my Delmanor station. Let me see if I mean, let's do Village View. That might be the best one. Yeah. In my Delmanor station there, the top, the Bahnhof, is not removable. But underneath it are all the shops with people and scenes and joke scenes, the shops, the lockers, the little restaurants that are inside the Delmanor station as of 2019. Of course, 2 of those things are now gone. And nobody will ever see them unless I got like a snake eye camera and slid it down the steps somehow. Or put it through the front doors, which are open. I need a Pez car. Now, are we actually... Hey, Andy from March West Junction, how are you? You're getting a Christmas beer wagon from Tuberg this week. Hey, Colin from Woodthorpe is here. Good to have you. And you do a great job of it. Maerklin, 100, 1 to 100 express coaches. Okay, Raymond Legs. How's the Fowler car going? The car works. Okay, the car works. I'm just not getting the motors to work in unison. The last time I worked, I had a couple of motors working, a couple of not, so I was not getting it consistently going in. But I haven't worked on it in 6 weeks now. I haven't tried to work with these sensors. And it's just about mojo. I got to be in a certain mind frame of willing to put up with the backfalls to deal with them as they come up. And it's been such a battle for 4 years. Again, part of the problem is I had it all working and I messed with it. And ever since I messed with it, I've never been able to get it working right again. So I have to get in a mental state where I'm ready to take on the fight for a few days. And it really takes a few days of just meditating on it and psyching myself up for it. Yes, I'm going to do it. And so sooner or later, those updates will come. No, Raymond, you drink a single beer of each of these and you'll be signing the Flying Dutchman. Of course, it depends on how big the sample is. But you said drink a single beer. Yeah, even that many beers would probably affect me. Yeah, a lot of European guys here. But anyhow, to get back to that point, Raymond, again, sometimes guys put it on because they know it's there and they see it, or they have a camera down there and do it. I did it for me. Nobody will ever see it, but when I decided to build the Delmanor station, I was going to build it 100% scale accurate inside and out, and it didn't matter who else was going to see it. I knew it was there. I put all that work into it. You think the final straw was having a minute silence for Hattons? It is a shame. But anyhow, going back to CMD models, you said I need a Pez train. Are we talking the candy? I don't think I want a Pez train. But the question is, how many of these beers have I had? So somebody counted there's 25 beer cars plus the brake van, or whatever you want to call it. One of the beers is doubled. So that's 25 minus 1, that's 24. There's 24 different beers on here. How many have I had? Well, here we go. I've had Beck's, Velton, Stuttgarter Hofbrau, Dinkelbrau, CD. I have not had Dortmunder. I've had Stauffenbräu. I've had Vickels. It's going too fast. I can't read it all. So maybe what I'm going to do is slow it down next time it comes through, and I'll go through each beer and do a yes, I've had it, no, I haven't. Here it comes again. All right. I gotta wait. There's a train gonna get in the way, but not too much. All right. I have had Beck's. Come on, Rheingold, get out of the way. I've had Beck's. I've had Veltons. I just had Stuttgarter Hofbräu last year. Speaking of last year, I also had Dinkelacker. Last year I had the Tannenzapfel there. I had the Rothaus Pills. Those three beers, Stuttgarter Hofbräu, the Dinkelacker, and the Rothaus Pilz, I had all three of those in 2023. All right? Move forward. So that's those. Come on, get out of the way, Rheingold! I've not had Dortmunder Kronen. I have not had Köstritzer. I have had Stauffenbräu. I have had Wickkühler. I have not had Oberdorfer Weisser, the one in the light blue there. I've had Weitzenthaler. I have had Weitzenthaler. I have not had Lauterbacher. Whoops, that went too far. Back it up here, BR50. Let's back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Okay. Now, in the bottom right-hand corner, I have not had Alpiersacker, or I can't read that on my screen. The Alpierschachte, I've not had that. I have had Kumbacher Reichelbräu. I have had Plockingers. Whoops. Other way now. Come on, Anthony. Learn to steer your trades correctly. I have had Plockinger. I have had Schwabenbräu. Gotta keep waiting for the Rheingold to get out of the way. Need to make the loops longer. I have not had this one. I can't even read what it is, but I don't recognize it. I have not had Guts beer. Their Stuttgarter Hofbräu, which again I have had. I've had Haller Lowenbräu, not to be Lowenbräu. I have had Gantner. I have had Weihenstephan. I have had Pilsner Urquell. I have had Tuborg and I have had Carlsberg. Okay, there we go. I didn't even keep track there. But there we go. I've had that many of those. Now I got to go back to the chat because I can't see the chat. Yeah, Franziskaner is very good. Don't drink beer while driving shit. Hey, Eric, and you're at dialysis. Oh, man. Hang in there, bud. Yes, Tom, I've had Kirsch. And I've had Grosch. Both of them I had in the city of Köln, or Cologne, as the regulars say it. I have not had Halfahan, half chicken. I have not had that one. Or if that's Halahan. But I have had Kirsch and I've had Grosch. And I've had both those in Cologne. I don't even remember my favorite German beer because I had it at a restaurant in Mittenwald. It was a local brew, and they gave us 3 different beers. And the one was like, oh my goodness, it's the greatest beer I've ever had. Until I went to Prague, and I had a local beer in Prague that was just amazing. And another Czech beer I love is Staro, something, something, something. I haven't had it in a few years, but that's always a good beer. I like Hackebecks, which is local. You can only get it in the Bremen area. It was actually a Delmenhorst brewery and was only sold locally, and Bremen still brews it, but it's only distributed within the region. It doesn't go cross country, and it definitely doesn't go international. A Käsebrötchen, Herforder Pills. Haven't had that one. Well, should I put the smoke back in the 2 smokers again and let everybody see them smoking, or are we content with what I did? Never ask the audience an opinion. Yep, that pub by the Charles Bridge. Yes, they got... It seems like it's more than 50, but yes. But all I can tell you is that the beer I'm talking about that I said was my favorite beer down in, we had it in Mittenwald. We just sat at this little restaurant, little tiny mom and pop restaurant, and we tried different beers. Me and the other the German teacher, because we were down there with our students. We sent our students shopping and said, go away and don't come back. If you see us sitting here, pretend you didn't see us drinking a beer. And so we each had a couple of beers. And they let us try others, but the one they gave me, because I had a dark beer, which I really like, because I do like dark beers. But it was a Hefeweizen. And I've had other Hefeweizens, and I don't like them as much, but this particular Hefeweizen was delicious. Because every time Joyce and I go to a German city, we always go to a restaurant or, a fast food place, and if we're going to get a beer, because we don't get a lot of beer, but we always ask what is the best local. We don't want a name brand. What's the best local beer? We want to try the best local. Now, sometimes the best local does go national, like the Rothaus. That is a cross-Germany beer, but it was local to this tiny town near Freiburg. And we had it in a restaurant, and it was really good. I really liked it. Now, the worst beer I ever had, and I might get in trouble for saying this, there's 2 of them. And no, I'm not going to talk about the Carlsberg we had in Liverpool. That was bad, but it might have been stale. It was not good. I did try a Carlsberg Live that I thought was okay. So Carlsberg is off the worst beer list. The 2 worst beers where I've had them more than once and just do not like them is, here's one where I'll get I do not like Guinness. Oh, I cannot stand Guinness. Sorry guys, I do not like Guinness. And the other worst beer is when Joyce and I were in Bamberg, Germany. Everybody's like, oh, Bamberg's the home of smoked beer. And the original smoked beer is at this little pub over here that's been around for 500 years. And you got to go there. Their smoked beer is the best. So we went there and had smoked beer. Oh my God, that was the only time in my life I didn't even finish a beer. I got halfway and I was done. Even the bad Carlsberg in Liverpool, I drank it all. Even the Guinnesses I've had, I finished them. But that smoked beer in Bamberg was so awful. Carlsberg is brewed in the UK. Huh. The Carlsbergs in the can I have said brewed in Denmark or Denmark. But no, that's the one thing. Joyce and I, we don't. There's a double-edged sword here, Evo. When you talk about getting stuck at one pub until closing. Joyce and I like to do new, but when we're staying in a town for several days, we do like to find a restaurant we like and become sort of regulars for the week we're there. It's a wonderful feeling when we're there to go into a restaurant and have them recognize you the second and the third time you're there. Now, granted, we're there a week. We still got breakfast and lunches that we could do at other places. Or we'll go to this restaurant for a lunch instead of a dinner one time. But we do enjoy that. We like something new and different each day, but we also like that sense of when we walk in, oh, it's the Americans! You know, we do love that. We can't help that. Carlsberg drank in Liverpool. Well, maybe that was the problem. The Liverpoolians screwed it up. But that's why I did it. I'm such a Liverpool fan, and I grew up with, well, for years and years, especially in the 80s through the 90s, where Carlsberg was the main sponsor on the shirts, on the jerseys. I even have my Michael Owen jersey with Carlsberg on it from the 1990. It was a couple of years before he left. Now known as Scouse Piss. Hey, don't hate on us Scouse. I'm a knighted Scouse. I was knighted an official Scouser by the by some people in Liverpool. I'm very proud of that. Those people are my bestest friends in Liverpool now. Liverpool's one of the cities. The problem is when we go back to the UK, there's a couple of cities we want to go back to. And like we did all the things we wanted to do in Liverpool, but we loved being in Liverpool so much. And there are other things we could go do we hadn't done. I mean, and if we go to Liverpool, we could still go over and see Alan if he wants to let us in his house again, or at least in the shed, and go down to Manchester and see Jim again if he would be willing to accept us again. I don't know about that, Andy. Yeah, now Kolsch was a very good beer, and I had that, but I had it in Köln. I had Kolsch in Köln. Yes, it's a time warp. It's Friday. I'm early. I'm 10 minutes before I would normally start a stream. I just was... I came down here yesterday before the family came over for dinner and took all the trades off and got it in my head because I talked about it. Wanted to try to run all my steamers, and I wanted to get all the steams blowing. And I experimented around last night, and I couldn't get them all at the same time. And then I thought I would do the whistles and have them all blow their whistles at the same time. And that didn't work. So I filmed that little short, which got a lot of positive reactions from my friends. You know, because it goes to everybody, all my shorts get a ton of thumbs downs, which again, they don't bother me because the shorts get put out to everybody. So some 10-year-old that was looking for a Pokemon video and all of a sudden this thing, what the hell's this? Bad. Or somebody, you know, didn't like the sound of steamers. Dad came in 68, stayed. German was your first language, though. Yeah, I was very involved in the German community here. Now, I was telling you, Von Don Eisenbahn, that three of my grandparents were born in Germany. So I had, and all their relatives came over. Like, the Dodge part wasn't German. Dodge is English. But let's go to the 11-lane view again and just try to catch some trains because I've been stuck on here for a while. good timing. Got a few trades go through. Um, so I had some German relatives. My grandmother Dodge, but the Dodge name, the Dodge is English. Um, and we came over to the colonies in the 1640s. The English Dodge name came over. But my grandfather Dodge married my grandmother Dodge, but she was Gitana Bogarter. And she came over from Germany when she was like 8 years old, 8 to 10 years old, somewhere in there. And she did speak some German because she had learned German up to that stage, and she kept German with her family. So she probably spoke fluent German, but I rarely heard her speak much German. She would sing in German. I have a special German song that the Germans would know. Marlene Dietrich made it famous, and if you know the movie Blazing Saddles, she sings it in Blazing Saddles. It's called Du liegst mir im Herzen. Du liegst mir im Herzen. Du liegst mir im Sinn. Du magst mir viel Schmerzen, weiß nicht, wie gut ich dir bin. Ja, weiß nicht, wie gut ich dir bin. My grandmother died when I was 3 years old, but I have vivid memories of her holding me on her lap and singing that song in a rocking chair to me. And to this day, that song is so dear to me because it's the connection I have to my grandmother. My grandmother was this short little lady, the sweetest lady. You never heard a member of the family, friends, distant cousins, anybody that knew her, and even people that didn't know her. Nobody ever had a bad word to say about my grandmother. They could have some things to say about my grandpa, that he was a bit of a hard nose and a tough guy. But she was the sweetest little thing. She was the sweetest little thing in the world. And I have two vivid memories of her. One is singing that song, and the other one was, it's either a scene that was played out many times, or it was just this one time that I played in my head many different times. But my grandfather got married in 1912. They married in 1912 or I think 1912. But when World War I broke out, he went. He could have exempted. He was married, he had kids. He went. He was ready to go fight because every generation in that family had fought in a war, and he hadn't. And he didn't want to be the one guy in the family who didn't go to war. So he and his brothers all volunteered and went and fought World War I in the trenches. He fought in 1918, but he joined the Army in 1917 when the war was called and they started the draft. He volunteered, and he came over. So anyhow, long story, but I'll shorten it down. Whenever my grandmother would start speaking a little German, even singing that song to me, but she would speak a little German now and then, my grandfather would turn to her and go, "Stop speaking that kraut! I went over and fought your family. Hell, I probably killed one of your cousins while I was over there." And he would say that. Now, obviously, he was being silly, but he always came across so scary. And she would just look up to him with a wink in her eye, and she'd just go, "Kusmik Havel," Kusmik, because his name was Havel. He was Howard Havel Dodge. He hated Howard and went by Havel or Havel. She'd go, "Kusmik Havel." Nun Kusmik Havel. And it's such a funny memory because he would just go, maybe later or something like that, But he would always do that. Whenever she'd speak some German, he would go, "Stop speaking that kraut." You're talking about Altet Dom? Okay. So, but then, to finish that up, because most people know these stories, my uncle, the son of my grandpa, my dad's older brother, He fought in World War II. He was a bomber pilot, and then he stayed for a few months, came back to America, and then when they needed, some issues were coming up, and they asked some of the pilots to come back to fly the Berlin airlift. He did that. He came back over and he did the Berlin airlift. So he would fly from stations in the UK and even in Germany and fly supplies into Tempelhof. And there was this young German, probably 8 years younger than him, 6 to 8 years younger than him, because he was 30-ish and she was early 20s. Yeah, he would have been 32 at the time. 31, 32 at the time. And she was like mid-20s. And anyhow, he met her there and gave her candy. They started dating. And they liked each other. So he married her and brought her back to the United States with some of her family. And she's the one, because she was born and raised in Dresden, she's the one who gave me the love of Dresden. She used to talk about how beautiful it was before the war and before the Nazis. And she hated the Nazis. Dresden was a very anti-Nazi town overall, along with Cologne. Those two cities were very staunch in their anti-Nazi viewpoints, even under the Nazi regime. She hated the Nazis, and the only people she hated more than the Nazis were the Russians. And she would briefly talk about leaving Dresden as the Russians were coming in, and then how they got to Potsdam, and then they got to Berlin, and then the siege of Berlin. And she supposedly escaped, but she talked about how sisters of hers and women, friends, relatives, where the Russians just raped them out. Now, people say, hey, the Russians were just paying the Germans back. Understood, but on either side, it sucks. But yeah, she hated the Russians. To her dying day, she hated the Russians. Don't tell him, Pike. You were stationed at Oldsnabruck. Yeah, that was a big British base. And then just outside of Delmenhorst was a British barracks. There was a small military presence in Delmenhorst. They had just closed it before I started my exchange program with Delmenhorst. Dresden or Dusseldorf? Now, see, I obviously would go with Dresden. I've been to Dresden twice, 2014 and 2017. I'd love to go back. I just love the city. It will always be dear to me. But yeah, it's... You learned English when you started kindergarten. Well, that's cool. But I was very active in the German community here forever. I'm not active with the German community in Toledo anymore because the person that's now in charge of the German community is somebody I despise with my deepest, darkest emotions in my soul. Well, I wasn't going there. But I would go with Dresden myself. It's a beautiful station, and actually there are models similar enough to it. It would be easy to convert those models. I bought a model of, is it Baden-Baden or Bonn? I forget which one I bought. That's down there on the floor with the idea I would paint it and then try to 3D sculpt the main door frame. It proved a little harder than I thought, and I didn't paint it. Is it mutual, Anthony? Yeah, she probably doesn't like me either. My biased opinion yet, you know, if Joyce were to sit here, and yes, Joyce would support me, Joyce would tell you, this woman was a German teacher in the city of Toledo, as I was. Actually, when she was a German teacher, I was an English teacher. And then I became a German teacher. And the people of Delmenhorst came to her school. She was in her last couple of years, but she was still teaching at the time. Her school. They came to my school. They went to all these schools in the Toledo area looking for the school they wanted to be the official Toledo Delmenhorst exchange program. And they chose me over her. Now, maybe one of the reasons they chose me over her is she technically already had an exchange program with the city of Gießen. But, oh, she, from that point on, and I actually had worked with her at the very beginning of my teaching career, so you're spanning 20 years. I worked with her when I first moved to Toledo at her school as an English and German teacher because they had a teacher that was older than her that was out sick, and I came in as a fill-in and was teaching half a day of German, half a day of English. But she's one of these, she's perfect, she knows everything, and there's only one way to do things, and she was a hawk on my shoulder, but her students didn't like her. So anyhow, you fast forward a few years, I get this, close to 20 years, you fast forward, I get this big publicity thing. I'm in the newspapers. We're in the German newspapers. I'm on German TV. I did a couple of TV interviews locally. And I was getting a lot of recognition for my school. And she was always about self-promotion. Everything her school, that her program and what she did, it was all her. It wasn't her students. It was all her. And of course, my students are awesome, but of course it's because I'm such an awesome teacher. Well, one year she joined the Delmenhorst Committee of Sister Cities International. Suddenly she's on the same committee with me. And then the head of the committee resigned, and he named her, well, we had an election, and I was asked to run. I didn't want to run. She ran. She got made president of the committee, and from that time on, she did everything she can. She pulled committee funding from my exchange program. She made sure everything the program did involved her students, and then when she retired, it involved her school and not mine. It was a very petty, competitive thing, and then she rose from that to be head of Sister Cities to head of the German American Festival Societies. And everything is about her. Her name has to be on it. It has to be Regina Kohler presents. And I've always been the opposite. My name doesn't appear, or it's in small print at the back of everything. Anthony Dodge, Bowser High School, German teacher. That's it. It was always about my students. It was always about the program. It was always about the people. It wasn't about me. And she did things where a friend of mine, Red Hart, and I worked as part of Sister Cities to come up with to bring back some of these old ethnic festivals. And so we brought back the International Festival. It was a big festival Toledo had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it died out in the 90s. And we brought it back. And we started small. We did it as a small venue. And what we did was it was going to be a cultural celebration. All these different acts from all these different ethnicities. And Red and I and a couple other people went out and recruited all these acts. Well, this woman and her husband, they had to have final approval. We had an Arabic belly dancing. Oh, that's just not proper. Canceled them. We had a Jamaican tin drum band going to come in. She threw them out after we accepted them, saw them perform, and said this would be great. She threw out a bunch of these acts we brought in, and then she had her husband do a Scottish saxophone bit, which was garbage. And then she had her students do a bit. My students weren't involved, weren't invited until the last second where they needed more kids to be ushers. And it made $4,000 profit for a one-night show. Our committee that we were on, the Delmenhorst Committee, had not shown a $4,000 profit in the last 10 years. And in one night, our idea got us a $4,000 profit. And of course, everybody in Sister Cities is like, how are we going to divide this pie? How are we going to divide this pie? Because although it was for all the Sister Cities, it was the Delmenhorst Committee that was behind it and running it. And I had come up with, we were going to split it evenly. I didn't care that we were behind it. Everybody contributed acts or was going to contribute acts. Everybody was trying to help some way. And she was the one blocking everybody. And then she decided, no, Delmenhorst Committee is going to keep 50%. The other 50% gets divided among everybody else in Sister Cities. Well, that pissed everybody else off. And then when the show came out with the brochures, it was her name on the front of it. She didn't do a damn thing. In fact, she voted against it, but the committee overruled her. She didn't do a damn thing for that show, but her name was on the front. Regina Kohler, President, Delmenhorst Committee, presents. Really? So there. Absolutely, that's what it is, Raymond Legs. Yeah. Hey, Kyle Stevens, and hello to anybody, but sorry, the topic came up, I had to go on my rant. Because, yeah, I despise the woman. So when she became head of the German-American festivals, the group I was part of, because we're the German-American Festival Societies, also known as the 7 societies. We have 7 different German or Swiss-German related groups that all joined together. She became head of the one group I was in, and all of a sudden she's in charge of a lot of the projects I was doing, Joyce and I were doing. And I was like, you know what? No, we're done. I'm not working with this woman again. And sadly, I was one of the young people. I was in my late 40s, early 50s, because we haven't worked with them in 5 years, but I was one of the young guys working like the German American Festival. And they were, there were people talking about, when I retired from work, would I be willing to take over running the Pancake House? And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. But they needed younger people doing it because the people running it were 70, 80 years old, 70s and 80s years old. And they were tired. They've been doing this for 50 years. This festival's 60 years old. Some of them had been doing it for 60 years. And I was like, well, definitely not until I retire, and then I'll think about it. But by the time I retired, I had severed ties because that woman is just such a... If she were a man, I would have punched her in the nose. All right, if she were a man, same height as me and weight as me, I would have punched her in the nose. Heck, if he took you away. Yeah, sorry, Andy. But the thing is, Andy, I can talk about it, bitch about it, I can go right back to laughing. So, yeah, she's just a nasty, nasty woman. Don't ask me, ask anybody but her and her husband and family. Oh, she's got a few friends in there, but like I said, it drove me crazy because it wasn't even my ego. Like, Red Hart and I did this. It was just that her name, and then she changed it and moved it again, and she expanded it, and all of a sudden, well, the venue you picked was too small. Well, this is how you build something. You start small and grow it. Start small, and then when it's like, ooh, we're filling up this theater too much, let's move to a bigger place. No, she moved it to a different time of year than the time of year we set, and had it competing with some other stuff. So the next year, without me and Red Hart involved, it didn't do well. So then she canceled it the next year, and then she reopened it somewhere else, which has since fallen apart. But we came into her rescue because my students had just done a show that had become kind of well known. We got some notice in the press and that. We did a really cool show based on the German writer Wolfgang Borchardt. And so, actually, no, it wasn't that show. We did a show where a professor at BG put our name out there. We did the Big Bad Wolf's Big Bad Day, where we took all the Grimm's Brother fairy tales and turned them into a twisted, dark comedy, where the Big Bad Wolf is innocent, and he's being framed by the character Peter, because there's all these Big Bad Wolf stories where there's a lumberjack named Peter, or this guy named Pater. And we did that show for 3 years, 3 straight years. Different kids came in. We did that show because it was so popular, people wanted to see it. And I wrote some of it, but my students, my daughter and my son, wrote a bunch of it. their best friends wrote a ton of it. And then each year kids would say, hey, could we add this to this scene? So we got asked, not by her, but we got asked to come to the new International Festival and do that show on the stage they set up. And we was like, yeah, we'll do it. Unfortunately, they didn't have the sound system set up, and people in the back couldn't hear, and there were displays going on at the same time. So while you're performing on stage, there are people talking, and there's a crowd noise. So people didn't quite hear it, but the visual joke still worked. But it was very funny. I loved that show. It was Matt Clark, but to Grimm's Brothers. Just think Matt Clark, but PG-13, mostly, but with based on Grimm's Brothers fairy tales. It was hilarious. Hey, Zader's here. Cool video you posted yesterday, Zader. Nice to have you here. Sorry, Sean, I'm talking about somebody that got me out of working in the German community in Toledo. Somebody asked me a question and it led to that long rant about this evil woman. She's just somebody I worked with that then became head of several things I was involved in. And I don't like the woman. Do not like her. You know, the thing is, I don't usually use any security except on a couple of the main computers. But the number one pop-up, the number one virus I get are all the ads from McAfee, Norton, and all the other things that pop up on my computer all the time asking me, you need an antivirus on your computer to stop pop-ups like us. I'm fine if you guys leave my light, if you guys stop popping up every 2 minutes. I can't turn this computer on or let it set for an hour without 20 different Norton pop-ups because we have Windows and we have Microsoft Works on here. And Norton, of course, is now owned by Microsoft. And so it just pops up the ads all the time. McAfee on 2 other computers, nonstop. Oh, don't worry about it. Like I said, I could say it and laugh. I apologize if anybody didn't enjoy the rant. But every now and then, you know, we're not talking about anybody you know. My family knows her. My kids would know. If my kids come in and said, and then this bitch did this, my kids would go, he's talking about her again. It's one of the very few women my dad will actually say that word publicly about. He may say it privately, but if he's online using that word, he's talking about her. Dad doesn't usually talk about women with that word publicly. So they would narrow it down very quickly. If they heard me say that bitch, my kids would go, yep, he's talking about her. If they heard nothing else. Because publicly, I won't say anything too negative about people by name. I might reference something about them and say, I'm not happy with something. Let's get some steamer noise going. Until it gets overwhelming and I go, I can't take it anymore. I had to play a game and say, can you match the whistle with the steamer? And I'm sure somebody's going to go, that's not the sound that steamer makes. The stream will never run out of steam. Well, technically it has run out of steam, both figuratively and literally, because none of my trains are steaming anymore. And sadly, I didn't get the 2 Rheingolds to steam. I got everybody else to steam, but not those 2 blasted Rheingolds. I don't know why this silly Rheingold here when it started. It should have, but it didn't. What's your problem? Get to work. And the other one's just always touchy. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. I'll probably shut the cameras off and come down later tonight or later this week and it'll work. I just didn't want to work on the camera. I'm shy. Typical German federal hooter whistle. Well, I've been known to whistle at hooters. I get smacked too. The Tricks Big Boy. Hey, did I see Mike McCarville has come in? Hello. If I didn't say hello right away. I was on such a rant, I missed a few people coming in. But it's a good rant. Like I said, I'm not, I mean, yeah, it angers me. I'm mad. Well, the thing is, I got all the issues out. You know, those of you who were here the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes saw the chaos. You saw the chaos. One train, the guy, not that guy, the blue Rheingold kept, one of the cars kept derailing on this curve back here. It kept derailing there for some reason, and I don't recall it ever having that issue, but every time it went around, it would derail just as it came around that curve, and that's a radius 5. So it must have been something with the bogey, because there's no way it should have been locking up or derailing, and it's never derailed. That Bavarian, I've never had trouble running that Bavarian Rheingold. It's a great runner, and I've never had derailing problems or uncoupling issues. And then the other guy, the 01 is, let's get Joyce Cam right here. Yeah, this guy coming right here with the Christmas tree on it. The green and red car there kept uncoupling. The Speisewagen and the second class car kept uncoupling. Well, I just turned that around, and lo and behold, it was all fixed. There you go. You got a little action there. Would have liked to have done that a little sooner. You guys would have seen more. But that little BR50, he's pulling that long rake of beer cars, beer wagons, and boy, he just goes and goes and goes. Tracks over open air. Oh, are you referring to which one? This right here? It's not quite as open as you think. There is actually a little piece of wood right underneath that spans that. You can see a little bit of it. But there's a little piece of wood that sticks out on both sides that holds it. See, and at that view it looks big, but it's actually only about that much of a gap. And besides, this is Maerklin C-Track. They're sturdy enough. I could probably take those supports out and they'd be fine. But as you can see, there's no bounce or play in it. No bounce, no play. That is hard as a rock going across. Well, I'm in the mood to do it again. All right, stop. Nope, not you. You, stop. When I say whoa, I mean whoa. Whoa, you, whoa. When I say whoa, I mean whoa. I'll go ahead and put you back in motion. I think the BR50 takes the other stuff. What I think would be cool now with this stuff is to get it all, if they would make different colors. I know they make different scents, but it would be cool if they did different colors. And then you could do psychedelic smoke trains. Wait, stop. I'm going to stop everybody just for a second, sorry. Just because I didn't want to wait while I've got this ready to go here. All right, dude, fill her up. Oh, yeah, that is the spot, man. I got to shoot up my locomotives. Ah, crap, damn you. Oh, my God, what is it? Why are you doing this? What is this shootback issue you've got? I don't know if it's an overpressured air ball. But there, you got to see that? Well, no, you didn't get to see that, so we'll pretend nothing happened. And so the Christmas train, get him smoking, and BR50, get him smoking. Okay, there we go. Try the Flying Dutchman one more time and put a little more in there. Where are you, Flying Dutchman? There you are. Hang on, Flying Dutchman. Stop, Flying Dutchman, stop. Oops. Probably not the best view you wanted there, is it? Oh. Man, there is something up with this syringe. It is not. It has got a nasty back kick where it's shooting everything out. Getting a little bit coming out of the Flying Scotsman, but not much. We'll see. All right, back to the chat, because I missed the chat, because I had to switch screens. Yes, that is true. It probably would be toxic. Well, actually, it wasn't fun. I was doing my, that was, Yosemite Sam. When I say whoa, I mean whoa! Don't sneeze now, you edge of dragon. You'll blow us all to smithereens. Foghorn Leghorn. And granted, those of you who know my Matt Clark, the mayor, Silas Sumbish, his voice is based in Foghorn Leghorn a bit. Bit of a central eastern Kentucky farmer accent. And Sheriff Buck Dannon is he is not Yosemite Sam, but you get to Yosemite Sam to get to Buckhannon. But there you go. Some smokers going. How's that? Yay, smokers. And maybe the Flying Scotsman will join in, but hard to tell. Yeah, I figured there was a bad one. That's why I said it'd be cool if. It was just a crazy, meant to be funny idea of different trains doing different smoke colors. But yes, there would be residue, the ceiling, you know, you'd get all these different colors up there because to color it, you'd have to color it somehow. So no, it's not a good idea. It's just a funny idea, as long as nobody actually does it. Remember, kids, don't try this at home, especially if you see me doing it, because if I'm doing it, it's probably not a good idea. Yeah, you can just see little wisp of smoke coming out of the Flying Scotsman. I don't know what the thing is. Maybe I'm just not filling it enough, but I get some kickback when I try to fill it. And it's not overfilled, I know that much. But, well, the 01 has already run out. I didn't give it a lot, but I thought it would last longer than it lasted. But it also seems to depend on where they're at, because all of a sudden now it's looking fuller again. It's me and you. Now the Rheingold and the 01 are having a race. I will say it's a little unfair. The Rheingold's not pulling as many cars. Yeah, if you just saw that, there was just a little bit of smoke coming off of him. The Flying Scotsman puts out a good sound. It's the wrong sound, but it's a good sound. What did we decide? You guys said it was a 2-cylinder and it's a... Breathe it in. It's expensive. I don't want to breathe this in. That's lung cancer. I just wanted to see if I could get 5 smokers at one time. I just wanted to see if I could get 5 of them smoking at the same time. And the most I've been able to do is 3. I got just a little wisp out of the one Rheingold, but not the one going under here. Chug, 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 chug. Oh. Yeah, not doing... No, I don't do that. Outside of alcohol, never did drugs other than the stuff doctors prescribed to me. And most of the time, I don't tend to take those very long because I don't like the side effects. Like when I had my shoulder surgeries, they gave me pretty strong medication. And I took them for like 3 days so I could sleep at night. And then once I thought the pain level was tolerable, I stopped taking them. I have to go, I donate them when our local police department does drug recollections, you know, prescription drug free collection things, I get rid of them because I don't want them around. I don't want them. Yeah, I think we'll avoid that one, Luma. We'll put that one definitively in the bad idea list. All right. Be safe. Take care, Eric. So you're multitasking. I understand that. I'm avoiding multitasking. I've been on since 1 o'clock, so it's been 2.5 hours, so I should probably start winding up. Because this is just supposed to be a short experimental stream, but people came in, and that means there's people I want to see. But yeah, Zader, I mentioned it already, but it was cool to see you put up a video, and boy, did you put up some cool trains for it. Yeah, it's not a bad crowd for a Sunday. All right, well, good night. Take care, Andy81E. Thanks for popping in. Oh, that would be weird, Zader. That would be too weird. I wouldn't even want to try that. I've seen some, was it one scale that was coal-fired? No, not for a Monday afternoon, unscheduled. No, it's great. Like I said, I didn't know how many people could or would pop on. It was going to be an experiment. The experiment failed, but in the end, the experiment was cool because people showed up and I ran a bunch of steamers. And the people who love steam trains get to enjoy that. And it gets all these guys out. You know, a lot of these guys sit for a long time. But this is how the insanity works. But I took all the trains off the main running lines Saturday night, Sunday morning, with the idea I was going to run my cleaners and just clean all the tracks. But I started thinking about, well, I wanted to try to see if I could get all the smokers going. So I got all the smokers out, and I just said, well, crap, I've got 5 trains that can smoke, I might as well put a 6th one out. And then I came up with the idea of doing the whistles, which became that little bit I put up on YouTube. And then I thought, well, maybe I could just do a live stream. But I had to test and see if everything would work. And I don't know if that cough is reacting to the smoke I've been putting up in this stream. Oh, that's glad I didn't change off that. That's nice. That's cool. That was a good shot, even if they were all going away. Here comes the place. But, so then I thought, well, maybe I'll just do an unannounced Steampalooza live stream, just for the hell of it, and do the experiment on air, because I just tested to see if they would work, and at one point I did get the blue Rheingold was working yesterday, but the other Rheingold wasn't. Today the other Rheingold was smoking a bit, but it really didn't work. And the blue Rheingold there never worked. So I don't get it. Why did it work yesterday and didn't work today? But the other thing is, I was working on OBS, trying to see if OBS was still a problem, because I did a private stream yesterday before my kids came over. I did a 10-minute stream and OBS worked and then crashed at 12. And then just before my kids came over, I did a 15-minute stream and OBS crashed at 15. Where it was going good, and then crashed. And I'm like, really? Come on. You know, it was going great. Never a problem. Then all of a sudden, 14 and a half minutes in, I saw a drop, and then it came back up. I said, okay. And then a couple of minutes later, down. And just stayed down, where it was the same problems I've had the last 2 weeks. So I got up today with the idea of and I did a couple of private test streams, but I also was working on, if I decided I wanted to do a stream, I was going to throw everything onto StreamYard, because I now know how to move my OBS screens into StreamYard, but I'd rather broadcast in 1080p here instead of StreamYard's filtered down 720p. Because while you can't really see the difference much on a phone, maybe even a tablet, when I played on TV, you could tell the difference between a 720 and a 1080. Without question. Even on my computer screens, a 720 versus a 1080 resolution just does not look as good. So, but, you know, people came in and liked what they were seeing, and I didn't have anything I had to do today. I talked to Joyce. Joyce had some running she had to do earlier today, and she has a doctor's appointment at 5, so she was not going to come on and say hello. But she said, yeah, go ahead, stream. Although, now that I think of it, I was supposed to call a company about our water heater. Our water heater keeps getting this error message, and it's had it a lot recently, and you're taking a shower and all of a sudden there's no hot water. It's like, oh, that's stupid. But the error doesn't make sense. Andrew, you said this climb looks steep. It's supposed to be a 2% grade, but I think, you know, the stuff I used was Woodland Scenic's 2% grade. But boy, a few of my locos don't like it. But it's supposed to be 2%, but I think it might be closer to 3.5%. I'll have to get my tool out one of these days and measure it. Electric fired real steam by Hornby. Maerklin offered moving coal level in the tender on some models. Okay. For your next video, you want to do some decoupling and shunting with a digital go decoder did not arrive, so you're waiting for that. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I have a spare Steam digital decoder. I don't even remember why I have it. I think I bought it with the idea I would put it in the PR8, and then I got talked out of putting it in the PR8. But maybe I could put it in the blue Rheingold instead, and that might solve a couple of the problems with the blue Rheingold. I would get the sound better, because that's the big issue with the blue Rheingold. It runs well, and the smoker unit that I put in a couple of months ago was working, but now obviously it's not. Not sure why. What do you mean over the edge? Are you talking the bridge view? This one where there's Okay, so let's turn those off. Oh, that was lights. That's okay. Okay, so the 01 is the loudest of the motors. So is the 18. Has a pretty loud one too. But yeah, this one line here is also just over the edge a bit down there, but it doesn't affect it. Tom's tracks are hanging off the table. Are they? I didn't think so, but I'll have to look closer. Yeah, actually, I've got the fluid car. It was a gift. Trying to remember from whom. That's the bad part. It was a gift. Somebody gave it to me. Was it, I don't have it here. Cayenne plays with it upstairs. So it's upstairs in the My World box, but it's a fluid car. Because I've got the York coal car, the York National Railway Museum coal car. That was a gift from March West Andy. I've got a another. I've got a tanker that was a gift from Danny from South Line Southern Branch now, or Southern Line South Branch, or at least I didn't say his old name like I usually do. Yeah, and that's probably an issue. Although, oh, did I see Ian is taking off? All right, good night. Yeah, it is almost 10 o'clock there. Yeah, I need to wrap this up here within the next couple of minutes. Ivor Junction, right? That's what he changed his name to. Darn it! And that's so much easier to remember than South Line Southern Branch. Or Southern Line South Branch, whatever he was. But Ivor Junction, that was it. I knew I wasn't saying the right name, and just my brain froze. But that's how I knew him, and that's how I always think of him. Wonderful son. All right, you're taking off. All right, Brian. Thanks for popping in. Great to see you. Yeah, it'll be our dinner time too. Actually, not for a little bit. What is the oddest thing? Okay. The two oddest things on a train I have, Pater, is on my IC4, there's a toilet flushing sound. I don't need that function. But there's a toilet flushing sound. You know, the German train toilet, push button, whoosh. And I think that by itself takes the cake. However, the purple and cream Rheingold going through, it actually has two decoders. There's a decoder in the locomotive, and then there's a decoder in the baggage car. And that has a whole dinner conversation between a waiter and a couple, including the sound of the champagne being poured. You know, they have the conversation, would you like champagne? The popping of the cork, the sound of the champagne being poured, the tinkling of the glasses as they toast each other. It's just, you would hear that if you were on a train in a luxury car like that, but you certainly wouldn't hear it if you were rail fanning. I don't know if that is a sound. I have played those functions exactly 3 times in my life. Once when I first got the trains, and then twice on live streams just to show, isn't this crazy? Did Danny actually just come in, or somebody just saying that as a, well, you were talking about him? Oh, wow, that's interesting. There's a couple that are kind of frustrating. Like, there's a couple of, like, sounds on my check rail jet, and another one of my trains where you have to have the engine sound on for these other functions to work. And I'm like, why did they have to be connected? You know, and obviously there might be a technical reason, or they just assume, well, you want to have this. Some of my trains, to have the brake squealing action work, you have to have the train sound on, even though they're separate function buttons. And I guess that's fair. If they're separate functions, I don't see why you couldn't play one without the other, but whatever. Most German steam locomotives have a permanent generator screen. Okay. I will say, out of all the sounds, I like the sound of a steamer the most. Some people love the diesels rattling and going, and that's fine. But of the 3 trains, if I'm just listening to model trains, I prefer the steam. If I'm on a train, to be honest, I don't want to hear any of those sounds. If I'm a passenger on the train, I don't want to hear anything. But the worst is being right behind the diesel locomotive and smelling the diesel. Not fun. To this day, Joyce still does not like Alex for that. Half-empty train, and they sat us in the car closest to the diesel locomotive, and we had to smell the diesel fumes the whole trip, because Joyce does not like, I mean, she's got asthma, so we do have to cut her a break. But she has asthma, and the steamer sounds or the diesel smells can be noxious. Exactly, Mav. Each one is different, even in the same class. The DC track is half in the air on the right side of my layout, but seems to be supportive. Yeah, they'll wait and everything would balance it out. It's more the joints. You know, that's the weakest part of any track, is the joints. It's the weakest part of anything, is where it's joined together. Now, my dad would do stuff where he would solder things and sand it down. He says, that solder joint I just made is stronger than the piece of metal I welded to the other piece. That weld is stronger than the 2 pieces. Says, if you were to, and he took a scrap piece he made just to demonstrate to me, and sure enough, he was trying to bend it in the middle, and the regular bent before his weld bent. But anyhow, but see, I do have Joyce home all week. She's on vacation this week, so I have her home all week. I can't ignore her too long. But like I said, she had things she wanted to do today, and although I didn't do the one thing she wanted me to do today, I'll be reminded of that later. Only way to hear the big Maybach rev up at every climb. And again, this, I only express my preferences. There's no judgment on other people's preferences. I just, I do not like the fumes of diesel myself. Joyce can't take them. But if I'm listening to sounds, everybody's got their favorite. Although I would say I would say electric sounds come in third of most popular. There's a lot of guys that are steam, a lot of guys that are diesel. I don't know too many guys that electric over those two. I mean, it's impressive when you hear like a Class 37 from the UK dieseling up, that getting that huge, big sound going. And of course, there are German guys that want to hear their 218s or their V200s and so forth, and that's all cool. But let's go. Who's gonna come in first? Okay, so I'll catch that one on the end around. Just trying to catch them as they come by here. Two more to park. And they're coming in at the same time. This will be interesting. Come on, fella. But hey man, almost 3 hours, and OBS stayed put. That's the problem. That guy's gonna come flying in fast. All right, well, I want to thank everybody who came in and hung out with me. Sadly, the experiment didn't go as well as planned, but as always, there's a bigger benefit, which is I got to spend some time with a lot of you here today. So thank you for sharing your Monday with me. I will got to see who's all posted videos since I last watched earlier this morning before I got to work on stuff. And thanks. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody by going live over their stream, but I really wanted to see if I could pull this experiment off, because I still got to. I'm sure Kine will like me running these trains tomorrow, and then I'll pull them off on Wednesday and put whatever I'm going to run on Friday, which I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. Hey, Terry Ellen, thank you. Yeah, it was experiment that's the point of experiment, to see if it would work or not. And it didn't. So I want to say on behalf of Joyce, who was not going to be on camera today, and myself, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen, and I have to say it myself. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Happy trains. Take care, everybody. Stay well.